Next on Deck with Tim Black.
There's actually little that the Senate minority leader can say, and the 10 Democrats that voted with the Republicans can say, to appease somebody like me. I'm about to change my registration to independent.
Members who are in the toughest district in the country now have to go out there having taken really a very difficult vote without any support from the Senate leadership. I think it's deeply disappointing. And I think if Democrats had started and Chuck Schumer had started with a serious message in advance, then they could have sold to the American people that, one, this was not a continuing resolution. In fact, it cut government spending. What a continuing resolution does is it continues government funding as it is until appropriations bills can come through. That is not what happened here. And frankly, they have a slush fund, the administration does, because there were no...
They had a slush fund? I thought the slush fund was at the USAID office. So now you're telling me the continuing resolution is not a continuing resolution, though it's called a continuing resolution. Oh, okay. It was $1.6 trillion, just like the last one was $1.6 trillion. Same amount of money, right? I know they did put a little bit more money into emergency funding because they felt we needed more money in the emergency funding portion. I think that was $300 million was put there. So yes, some things got money moved to certain categories, but nothing got phased out in this. And it's just, I think, until September.
Staying on Chuck Schumer's leadership.
You know, this is the bill, ladies and gentlemen. I printed the bill out earlier this week because I'm like, let me read the bill. Because everybody's saying it's something in the bill, something in the bill. What's in this bill? Continuing resolution? Well, there are cuts on page 17, on page 22. I wrote this down. There are cuts on page 46, cuts on page 42, 22, cuts on page 62, cuts on page 63, cuts on page 64. Page 62 is where they cut $300 million from the Cures Act. Burn pits for veterans. Page 22 is where they zero out the money for the COPS program. I didn't write down which page it was on, but within this document, $1 billion cut from Washington, D.C. I'm a D.C. resident, and I'm pissed.
Yeah. What was the funding amount last quarter? Like, what was the funding amounts that they were before Biden? See, this is the same thing happened with the police. That's why I try to tell people it's the same stuff all the time. Okay, so when people still believe that people still believe that cops had their budgets cut, that police stations were defunded, right? But they weren't defunded. Just the increase is not what they wanted. So with the police, let's say they're funding them $100 million. And every time they get a new funding, it's like 5%. They go up to 105 million. You know, they were 95, then it's 100 million, then it's 105. Well, instead of making it 105, they made it 102. Okay. So you got to go back in time and say, what was it before Biden started doing the rapid increases? The Cures Act is a new thing. So I don't know what it started at, right? But it didn't get eliminated. There's less money in it, but where does the less money, like what is getting cut? That's up to the agency to determine what in there gets cut. Like I've been telling people, if you got a family budget and you were working with, I don't know, $100,000 a year, now you make 90, that don't mean you got to go live on the street. It just means maybe you don't do dry cleaning as much. Maybe you get your hair done once a month instead of twice a week, or 4 times or 3 times or twice a month. Maybe you get rid of your landscape guy and you cut your own lawn. I don't know. Maybe you don't get your car detailed every 3 months. Maybe you get your son, you say, hey, son, get you detailed the car. There are things you do, but Democrats act as if these cuts mean these services go away. They act like now you got to get rid of your car. When all you got to do is, I don't know, stop, going on cross-country things that run up the mileage, which means you got to put it in the shop more often. I don't know, but that doesn't mean you got to sell your car. And just because maybe you don't get to send your child to the $35,000 a year school that Jasmine Crockett went to in grade school in her Catholic school was 35 grand. Maybe she goes to public school, or maybe she finds a cheaper school. That's half of that. Now, I know this is not a problem that the Crockett's had, because they were able to give her, they were able to pay $35,000 a year for her to go to elementary school and middle school and high school. But you get what I'm saying? So this is all like, you would have to, in order to do this justice, real talk, you'd have to go back and say, when did the funding begin? And show me the trajectory of the funding. Because I'm betting you're going to see under Biden, the funding increased significantly. And like, why? I'm not saying it shouldn't. I'm just saying that's the argument. So people are disagreeing with things without even knowing what the argument is. People are against things and they don't know what they're against. They're just against it because Symone Sanders said. And Symone Sanders is not being authentic and real with you and saying, hey, it got increased in 2021 by Biden by 15%. And if we cut this much, it's going back to what it was when Biden took office. That's what I'm guessing it is. I'm guessing that. Sort of like Biden coming in and undoing everything that Trump did when he came in. This is the game they play, man. This is what they do. Particularly now, insiders like a Bush might not have done that. Bush probably kept things exactly like it was and just kept it moving. Maybe a couple of boutique issues he may have had. He would have not cut everything. But I'm trying to give you the inside baseball what happens and of what I've discovered during my research. Biden ballooned the government under his watch. It was intentional. Just like he didn't forget the border was open. He actually deported a lot of people, but he left the gate open while he deported them. And those people that came through the gate was intentional. Same thing with him ballooning the government. He meant to do that. He didn't accidentally give Stacey Abrams a $2 billion grant. He didn't accidentally do that. Maybe it was an auto pen. I don't know, but he did that, okay? So some of the cuts that Symone Sanders is complaining about are less than the grant that Stacey Abrams got for $2 billion, a program to replace people's stoves with more energy efficient stoves in the hood in Georgia. Not worldwide, not countrywide, not all across the country. And so far they replaced maybe what, 50? So we can have this conversation. It would blow your mind if you start looking at just how corrupt this thing is, just how many holes are in the story, and how they don't tell you stuff. Yeah. Well, now you only get, it's like it sounds horrible, these divorces, it's like the celebrity divorces where you go, damn, she's getting $50,000 a month, but the guy is worth, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it sounds like a whole lot until you look at what the totality of the money is, and not just his paycheck, not just that, just the property, the stocks, the bonds, the 3 houses, and the house in the Hamptons, the house in Italy. Like, you don't know about anything else. All you know is that she got $50,000. Why she get $50,000? Well, that's because she agreed not to touch the house in Italy, not to mess with the casino part he owned, his owner's stake in the Mavericks, and like, there's more. It's all that stuff that's boring, that's not a soundbite, right? That's going to put asses in the seats that they don't tell us. And I already know to be skeptical. Because if you're a lie and tell me that Donald Trump, the president of the United States, said Nazis were good people too, and you will keep that lie going for almost a decade, and look in the camera and say it, and you will air it and let it be promulgated. Not one election cycle, but 2 election cycles? A lie that's obvious that what he said? Then anything that is said, I gotta scrutinize it. And I gotta play devil's advocate on everything that comes out your mouth because you lie. You lie like a rug. You lie like a no-lie relaxer. And you need to not use them because those are really bad and really dangerous substances. But you get what I'm saying? We on the same page, man. Let's go to Simone. She'll get as loud as me in a second.
Yep.
Okay, so there's actually little that the Senate minority leader can say and the 10 Democrats that voted with the Republicans can say to appease somebody like me. I'm about to change my registration to independent, first and foremost.
Yeah, this is, I don't know if you realize this or if you agree with me on that. And this is just my opinion. And most, I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to yours. I think that Symone Sanders is full of crap. Yeah, Symone Sanders is full of crap. She's full of hot air. She's talking out of her ass. And what she's saying is theatrical. And if you felt that what she was saying was real right there, if you think this is a true moment of total meltdown about the party that she's been getting her money from?
There's actually little that the Senate minority leader can say and the 10 Democrats that voted with the Republicans can say to appease somebody like me. I'm about to change my registration to independent, first and foremost. Shout out to Hakeem Jeffries, though, because the congressional Democrats stayed together. And I'm just going to I don't have a question. I'm just going to read what Rebecca Traister had to say.
We're not going to read it, but I appreciate you, though. Yeah, I think that Symone Sanders, like many of the Democrats, they're just doing their best display. And they're hoping that it keeps certain people in their seats. And it keeps the party from bleeding people. Because according to the polling that I covered yesterday, the Democrats, only 27% of Democrats, 27%. No, is that Democrats? Yeah, I think it's 27% is the number of people that think they're doing a great job. Okay, so that's horrible. That's horrible. And it's like other numbers national. I think it was like 40 overall. Think they're doing okay or whatever, but it's really bad. The polling right now is lower for the Democrats than it's ever been, is what I'm saying. And it's record low. They're talking about Trump, but the truth is their party's doing hella bad. And that's just what it is. And so they know what people want. People have been saying, the Democrats have overall been saying on the polling that they want to see their party fight. They want to see their party put up an opposition to Trump. So that's what everybody's acting like they are fighting. They act like they're doing something. But I got a feeling the majority of Americans would have not been happy with the government being shut down and then it being all the Democrats' fault. They would have blamed the Democrats. So you can't complain that Trump is cutting jobs, then you just cut everybody's job. Yeah, we got some Democrats that have been happy. They'd be like, yay, stick it to him. And then they'd be like, hold on a second. You sticking it to people, you sticking it to the same people whose jobs he was trying to save. It was a no, I know you want to say you got to do it. I don't know. It's a hard choice. They're trying to make it seem like it's real cut and dry, real simple. You do it anyway, because there's a loud group within the Democrats that are saying do it. I think I would have wanted them to do that long ago. On so many issues, not just this. It's very revealing that this is the issue that they're like, oh, that's enough. And it has to do with their money. It has to do with the money of their friends, like Neera Tanden and her conservative, her PAC for whatever, her political action committee. Whatever she's got. Now it's got to do with their contracts with the U.S. aid agency. All right, guys, hit the like button if that makes sense to you. If it's making you think at all. Symone Sanders ain't going no damn well. Where's she going to go? throwing a hissy fit. I'm tired of this. I want y'all to know, I'm just tired of stuff. Shoot, I'm tired. Bring me some Zatarain's hot sauce. I'm tired of the Sylvia's. Black people don't even own Sylvia's. Bring me the Zatarain's. Give me fried wings without Zatarain's. And I want my chicken wings fried hard. What is this? She from Arkansas too? All right now. I clothesline everybody in this room, including you, Michael Steele. You see me out there when they even act like they was gonna do something to my girl Jill Biden. Oh, you know how I do. Hassan Chop. Ogun. All right, let me keep going, man. Let me stop, man. Hit the like button for the Tim Black Show. I appreciate y'all. This is where I remind you that this is an independent media show. Go to jointimblack.com to become a member of the Tim Black Wolf Pack. Perfect. You made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you. Now, Google thinks this next video is going to be perfect for you. It's right up your alley. So click the next video, watch that with me, and let's keep this politics going. You're built for this.